Hi Wildings, it's time for another intuitive tarot card reading. Today we're going to ask Spirit for channeled messages regarding how your person might be perceiving your thoughts and feelings, or how they think you feel. This is probably going to be more of a separation, no contact situation, but I'm sure there will be messages for anyone who wants any kind of reading for any kind of situation. So if that sounds like something that would be fun or nice to hear today, stick around for the video. Hi Wildings, welcome to your reading for how your person thinks that you think and feel about them right now. So we're going to dive into their perception of you and your thoughts and feelings a little bit today. As always, I've left a brief description of each reading in the very, very bottom of the description box. If for whatever reason you're practicing some self-care and avoiding triggers, or maybe only opening up to certain readings on certain topics, that's always there for you as an option. But for everyone else, you're going to choose a reading based on your intuition, remembering that your intuition might be drawing you to more than one pile, because there may be messages for you in more than one reading today. But to start off with, head to wherever your intuition is most drawing you, and wherever that might be, I will see you there in a moment. Hey there, Pile 1, welcome to your reading for your person's perspective on your thoughts and feelings. Let's go ahead and get the general themes using this traditional astrology deck. Just remembering while I'm shuffling that this is a general reading, so you need to take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and meditate on the rest to see if there's any maybe messages in that for you. There will be messages here for specific people, and there will be some interpretations of the cards that might be a little bit different for you if your energy in that area deviates from the collective just a little bit more. So it's very important that you bring your intuition and discernment into this reading. But we have one theme so far. Spirit, do we have any more themes for Pile 1, please? Any more themes for Pile 1? Okay. Pile 1, the themes that we have for you is, oh, there's quite a bit here. Okay. So we have the 6th house of routine. This corresponds with the more analytical side of the Mercury placement. Mercury does have a lot to do with just kind of like how things work or how things go, which is why sometimes when we have things with moving parts in Mercury retrogrades, they tend to kind of mess up. So this is kind of like moving parts energy. It corresponds with Virgo energy as well. It has a lot to do with like your health, your work, and your day-to-day routine. Then we have the Grand Cross, which in astrology indicates kind of like upheaval and provoking. Then we have the 10th house of the world. This house is ruled by Capricorn and the Saturn placement. Saturn being about like living your truth and also taking personal responsibility and accountability for yourself and your life and how you contribute to the world. And Capricorn being obviously another earth placement like Virgo, but Capricorn's cardinal while Virgo is mutable. Then we also have the Jupiter placement, which corresponds with good fortune, wealth, abundance, and kind of like all that really, really fun luck kind of stuff. It corresponds with the 9th house of spiritual development and faith and travel, and occasionally higher education, and as well as Sagittarius energy, which is another mutable sign. And yeah, it's like the curious, the seeker, the like ever traveling like scholar kind of energy in the zodiac. But let's see what else we can get using this traditional tarot. I don't know if that's all in the shot. I'm gonna have to just like super size it down. You might have been able to tell that my setup is a little bit different today. Once again, I ended up filming way later in the day than what I planned, which means that my phone could die at any moment, so I just erred on the side of caution and plugged it in, meaning that my stand needed to be on the opposite side, a little bit closer to a PowerPoint. But it's nice to shake things up every now and again. But let's go ahead and get one more card, please, for Pile 1's person's perspective on our Pile 1's thoughts and feelings. Can you please clarify the Ten of Wands energy, please, Spirit? Please clarify the Eight of Cups energy, please, Spirit. Please clarify the Knight of Wands. And can you also please clarify the Lovers and Seven of Pentacles card? Okay, hopefully all of this is in the shot, we will see. Pile 1, there's a lot of really hopeful energy coming out in this spread, especially with this Star card coming out. Your person's definitely hopeful about a lot of things for you. I'm getting like it kind of like is a bit of a mishmash of like hope / concern. Like they're hoping that there's some things that you're thinking and feeling. There's some concern that maybe you're not thinking and feeling those things for sure. So like I would say a little bit of worry. But to begin with, your person, I'm going to start at this end. So I can see that in the past, like you've always been very passionate and romantic and loving and inspired by this connection with this Knight of Wands and Knight of Cups coming out. So this is kind of like more of that inspired creative energy and like kind of envisioning a future for the two of you, whereas this Knight of Cups is kind of like more of that like feeling romantic love kind of energy. Like your person like remembers that about you and knows that about you for sure, but they're definitely hoping that that like passionate romance kind of energy has kind of like stabilized and maintained. Fours in Kabbalah Tarot represent like kind of stability and structure and form. And it seems like your person might be concerned that based on kind of their abandonment from you of the past, it seems that they're worried that this might have changed, but they're definitely hoping that that hasn't changed. And I think they know that you're very benevolent, very like you give people the benefit of the doubt. So from their perception, they think that you've managed to kind of like overcome some of the pain from their abandonment of you, because you know that at the time they weren't emotionally available and they had to go away and learn to be emotionally available. They had to learn how to be this like kind of like divine masculine container for support and empathy and showing up as a really emotionally available partner in connection. So they're hoping, because you do see things from higher perspectives and do see the best in people, that you know that that was kind of like always part of the plan. And so they're hoping that your like kind of romantic feelings haven't changed towards them overly a lot. Yeah, so they're hoping that this, like I'm getting from the Tower card can like kind of indicate kind of destruction and renewal. They're kind of like hoping that all of those feelings are still there and they haven't kind of changed too, or like overly too much. definitely. They definitely hope that you're also taking responsibility for some of the shadows that played out on your end of this connection. It seems like, so the shadow of the Empress can be very, very enabling and like potentially not have enough boundaries, not trust her own wisdom. And like, yeah, it's like the shadow element, which I'm getting is kind of like coming out with this card coming upside down, like may have contributed to the destruction of this relationship as much as your person being initially emotionally unavailable and not able to meet you in this like kind of inspired and loving energy. And they're really hoping that you're taking responsibility for that and doing your healing and doing your work. They definitely, I'm getting that they definitely think that you are doing that work. And I think their trust that you're doing that work kind of actually is coming from how much work they're putting into being more emotionally available. So kind of they're trusting that you're doing the work because they feel like they're doing the work. And then lastly, we have this Seven of Pentacles in reverse and Lovers card. So it seems like the way they see it, like kind of everything that's happening between the two of you right now, like I'm getting very heavy separation vibes, especially with this like kind of abandonment coming out. They definitely know that this is necessary if you guys are ever going to have a chance for connection in the future. I'm getting that maybe in the past, the two of you, maybe you weren't utilizing this relationship as a container for spiritual development as much as you probably could have or should have been, because like all of your own stuff was getting in the way. Like you're kind of like enabling and kind of like letting your person get away with a little bit too much, like not having enough boundaries, definitely contributed on your side, and your person being emotionally unavailable and not kind of like showing up in this kind of like passionate, romantic, inspired kind of energy was definitely like their bad. So the two of you didn't really get that kind of fruition the first time around. The Seven of Pentacles, the right way up, is a Saturn in Taurus energy. So it's kind of like the fruition of like kind of what you have and what you've worked towards. Like it's Saturn is like a very responsible, like working hard kind of energy, and then Taurus is like a very, like I would say, more indulgent energy, like indulging in the fruits of your labor kind of energy. Like you guys definitely didn't get that the first time around. Your person knows that you didn't get that the first time around. They want to have it in the future, and they know the only way to kind of have that is to have this like lovers energy in full force. And what that entails is two people using this relationship as a container for spiritual development, and knowing that this container is going to like elevate their vibration to more of a vibration of love, not just for each other, even though each other is kind of the mirror that like allows that to happen, but for just like love in general and people in general, and just like love for like zest for life. Yeah, so your person's definitely like doing a lot of work, hoping that you're doing a lot of work. I would say that this is kind of like overall very, very positive energy. Like there's a lot of maturity, a lot of responsibility taking, a lot of really balanced perspective on both sides here. Like I would say overall, like really good energy here. But let's see if there's anything else in terms of your person's perception of your thinking and feeling. Okay, pile one, I'm getting that they've probably been like, even if they're not making it obvious, they've been kind of like watching you from a distance. I'm getting that you guys are separated, but your person's definitely like keeping tabs on you. They're definitely seeing you flourish, like, and I think this is kind of like essentially why they're pretty confident that the two of you are doing like kind of really good work, is because they see you like definitely upgrading and flourishing. They see you kind of like evolving in terms of like your kind of like mystical, magical, feminine energy. Like I'm getting kind of like high priestess vibes here. And they see like you kind of like, I'm getting this is like going outside in nature. Yes, like you've probably been posting some photos in nature at the moment, which they love, but I think this is actually a little bit less literal, and they see you kind of like going outside like your old patterns and boundaries of like kind of like the comfort life, and they see you kind of like evolving into more of a like developed spiritual, more authentic life, like kind of like really going out of your comfort zone. I'm getting, they definitely see like they're keeping tabs and they see a lot of good things that like going on for you. Yeah, they think you're definitely way more discerning, peaceful and sovereign now. Like they see that you've gone through a real upgrade here, and they're really proud of you for that. I'm getting I think they know as well that you're definitely not going to take as much shit this time as what you potentially did last time. Because they know that you are like way more standing in your power. Like I definitely associate this Queen of the Moon with kind of like High Priestess energy too, so they definitely like see that in you a lot. And they know that you're not going to take any of their shit next time around for sure. So we have the end of a tough cycle approaches and adjustments are required. So your person definitely like kind of sees the power in making all of these like adjustments so that when the two of you do reunite, it's like a very different energy, and that like container for spiritual development is very evident in your relationship. And I definitely think that they see an end in near, end in sight, and they think that you see it too. Like they're pretty sure that you guys, even though you might not be speaking, that you guys are kind of on the same page, that you're kind of like adjusting what you each need to adjust, and you're both very aware that there's definitely a light at the end of the tunnel, and that you're definitely kind of like approaching the peak of all of this work that you guys have been doing. Yeah, so I think your person knows that you really want to talk to them, and that your mind is probably still on creating like an end game connection with this person. Like I'd say you probably want to get engaged, and they probably want to propose to you too. I'm getting like, I think you've both been thinking a lot about like marriage and ending up with each other and like all of the possibilities of this connection. Yeah, and if you're not thinking of that, like I think they're thinking that you're thinking it because they want that, if that makes sense. Like if you haven't really thought about like talking to them or being engaged to them, like that's probably a projection of their own consciousness, and they are definitely thinking all these things. So an affirmation for you to get you through this time at the moment, pile one, is I welcome positive change as an opportunity to expand my being. So yeah, definitely all the work you've been doing has been expanding your being for sure. And there's potentially going to be a fair few changes coming in the near future, just based on like all this work the two of you have been doing. So yeah, definitely embrace that. Know that it'll happen when it happens, and it'll happen in alignment with expanding your being, like when you guys are really ready to step into this lover's energy as part of like your spiritual development. So yeah, have a lot of trust and be open to it, and know that when it comes, it's not necessarily going to be the end. It's going to be like kind of an amping up of all this spiritual development you've been doing. So yeah, be prepared for that, and also enjoy it, because I'm sure it'll be good. Even though like there might be some more hard stuff still to come. Like that's relationships, that's using a container of a relationship to evolve spiritually. Like that's just life. But I think I'm going to leave that here, pile one. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. If it resonated, don't forget to drop me a comment. And if you could like, comment and subscribe anyway, I would really appreciate that, because I would love to appear on your feed again very soon for another intuitive tarot card reading. So until then, ciao. Hey there, pile 2, welcome to your reading for your person's perception about your thoughts and feelings. So if you chose this beautiful smoky quartz, then this reading is probably for you. However, as always, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. This is a general reading, so there will be messages here for specific people. and there may be some interpretations of some of the cards that could be a little bit different for you if your energy deviates from the collective in that aspect. So always bringing your intuition and discernment to general readings, and meditating on anything that maybe is a little bit weird or doesn't feel right or whatever, to see if there's maybe some deeper meanings or deeper messages or different meanings for your particular situation. But we're just clarifying some of the energies in this reading. We've got the second house of owning corresponds with Taurus energy, and the Venus placement, so very fixed, earthy kind of energy. We also have the Scorpio placement, the Scorpio zodiac, which is clarified by the affirmation I transform, corresponds to the 8th house of beginnings, endings, sex, metaphysics, like kind of all the juicy stuff, as well as Pluto and Mars energy. Then we also have the 12th house, which corresponds to like hidden realities, secrets. It can be quite spiritual, but it does have a lot to do with the subconscious mind, and the Neptune and Jupiter placement. But let's get a little bit more using this traditional tarot. Spirit, can we please have messages for pile 2 regarding how their person is perceiving their thoughts and feelings? Can we please have messages for pile 2 regarding how their person is perceiving their thoughts and feelings? We have messages for pile 2 in regards to how their person is perceiving their thoughts and feelings. We have, thank you. Can we clarify this judgment card, please? Can we clarify this Wheel of Fortune card, please? Can we clarify this Ten of Pentacles card, please? I'm a little bit worried about everything coming out and being in the shot since I've changed like my whole setup because my phone was gonna die. We have this King of Pentacles, clarified. Thank you. Pile 2, it's a good chance that this connection is a divine counterpart connection, but your person is definitely worried that maybe you are not seeing the connection that way right now, and particularly not seeing them as a divine counterpart energy for you. So the divine counterpart energy is definitely coming out with this King of Pentacles and Queen of Pentacles coming out, and just like obviously some earth energy here as well. But your person's worried that you maybe like discounting them right now. They know that they've potentially created some like anxieties for you in the past. That might be like your anxious attachment or just like a general like anxiety kind of feeling in you. They know they've created anxiety, like they know they have. And that what they're hoping is that the anxieties that you're potentially experiencing either now or in the past, they're hoping that that's going to transform into a lot of trust, but they're really doubting whether that's happened right now. Like they think that they've stressed you out too much, I'm getting, and potentially they're worried that kind of instead of like transforming these anxieties into like more trust, that you've kind of like written off this connection as maybe like a bit of a karmic connection, not like a soul connection. and they're worried that you're kind of like moving forward with your life and like kind of like concentrating on other things. Potentially you've always like wanted to be like a mum or like nurturing, I'm getting, and they're worried that you kind of like don't see that potential with them anymore, and that maybe you're trying to move on and like do those things and have those things with someone else, when this person actually really wants to give you all that stuff. So the Ten of Pentacles is kind of like peak energy when it comes to the Pentacles suit. And the Hierophant can indicate like connection between the divine and the physical, and or like kind of like beliefs and traditions. So it's kind of like the belief part is obviously the divine, and then the traditions is the how it manifests in ritual in the physical. This person like does want to create that kind of like traditional life with you. Like that's definitely what they want. They'd like that to be the outcome of this connection, but they're definitely worried that you've written them off as like a karmic and left them behind, for sure. Even if they're not aware of like kind of like all that language around karmics, like that's what they're thinking would be happening here. But I think like they're worried that what you seeing in them is like a real lack of discipline and kind of control. Like maybe they either ghosted or like abandoned, or like just the way that they went about like ending this connection, because I'm getting heavy separation vibes. The way that they went about it, like in your eyes, wasn't great, and probably in their eyes wasn't great either. And they're worried because of how they showed up at the time that like they kind of lost their chance with you, and that you're not going to persist with this connection, and that you're not seeing how much they're still persisting with this connection, and how much they're like envisioning kind of like a reuniting and a rectifying in this connection. I think like I'm getting that like the way that they showed up was like a little bit complicated, because yes, they did do a lot of shitty things, but also I'm getting that there was like a lot going on in the relationship, and kind of like things went the way that they had to go based on the kind of like level that the two of you were at the time, and like it kind of like had to end in a little bit of chaos. Like this Scorpio and 12th house energy is telling me that like it definitely destroyed itself in a bit of chaos, which is this like Scorpio energy, because of like stuff that was going on in both of your subconscious minds, and like stuff from your past, and like kind of like your stuff essentially, and kind of like that's no one's fault, but your person definitely, from where they're standing, feels like you're gonna like give most of the blame to them for that, which like there's definitely a lot of things that they need to be held accountable for sure, but like blaming and fault does not have space. There's no space for that in divine counterpart connections. So yeah, like potentially their anxieties are just their anxieties, and like you're not in that space, but that's definitely like what they're thinking is going on, for sure. Do we have anything else for pile 2 when it comes to how their person is perceiving their thoughts and feelings? Yeah, I think this abundance card might have a bit to do with the reason why they think that you're potentially like kind of moving on without them. They're worried that like you actually seem more abundant without them. Like I think this is a bit of shadow talking, to be honest. They definitely see that you've healed a lot after this connection ended and after the separation, and in their eyes they're worried that you've healed way more than them, and that you've definitely grown in wisdom way more than them, and that maybe like you don't even wish for this connection to come into fruition anymore. But yeah, this to me feels like a lot of their projections and anxieties, and just like coming from a place of like lack in themselves and self-doubt, and like not enough like kind of worthiness. So I'm definitely not saying that this is actually true for you. Like it might not be your truth, but it's definitely like what they're like ruminating on and thinking about and worried about for sure. Can we get anything else about how pile 2's person is perceiving them right now? Okay. I think they definitely see you standing in your power for sure. They're hoping that you're still attracted to them, so that even if mentally you've kind of distanced yourself from this connection, they're hoping that they're going to be able to still restart things just based on the attraction that the two of you have for each other. Like, I'm getting that there's like just a deep like care and attraction. So they're definitely like kind of putting all of their eggs in that basket, so to speak, just like really relying on that. But yeah, they can see that you've definitely like changed a lot. You're way more in balance. You've definitely overcome a lot of your fears. And like, I'm not saying that there's no fear there, because there probably is, and your person definitely has fears too. Like, that's definitely coming out in like all of these projections. But yeah, they definitely see that you've worked on a lot of your fears too. And part of their insecurities is worrying that you've done that way more than them, and that the two of you aren't in balance. But I think you probably are more in balance than either of you realize. And yeah, they see that your boundaries are like a lot clearer. Like, this Queen of Pentacles, her shadow can be very enabling, and like kind of like mothering without allowing your person to have like space. But your person definitely perceives you as like really having worked on this, and like really upgraded the way that you approach boundaries. So they definitely see like you healing a lot. Like, I think boundaries was part of your healing for sure. Yeah, they know you've made a lot of adjustments, and they definitely heavily believe that they still need to make a lot of adjustments to kind of like resolve enough of their issues to kind of like feel worthy of you. But I feel like for them, it might be like this never ending thing of like, I won't be worthy until I do this or have this or blah, 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 blah. And at some point they're going to have to realize that they're just like going to infinitely have stuff to work on, and to not keep avoiding it and like projecting into the future, and actually allow it to be kind of what it is. I think they're definitely worried about you meeting someone new and like kind of like starting the family and doing like all the things with them, by the looks of it. But I think they're hoping that even if you are like dating other people, that you'll be open to dating them because of this like intense attraction between the two of you. Yeah, I think they're definitely worried that you are thinking that they were too self-absorbed, and that the relationship was too one-sided, and that the two of you won't have a chance in the future. They're definitely worried about that. And I think like they see that you've just grown so much, and like changed a lot, and your boundaries are definitely giving you a new sense of stability and security, like within yourself first, so that like you're less dependent on like getting things from this connection. I think like potentially they've masked a lot of their true intentions and feelings, but they're potentially wanting to bring that truth to light and create clarity around that, by reaching out and making a call. They are hoping that you will be receptive to that call as well, based on this kind of like attraction energy. Like, this is definitely stuff that they're thinking about, and thinking that you would actually respond to well. So yeah, but let's get a last affirmation for you, pile 2, to help you through this time. Get an affirmation for pile 2, please. We get an affirmation for pile 2, please. We get an affirmation for pile 2, please. We get an affirmation for pile 2, please. Thank you. So we have I am fearless in the pursuit of what I desire. I think there's a lot of stuff between the two of you. Your person's definitely coming up with a lot of fear. You might be as well. I think it's an important time for you guys to like really let go of fears as much as you can, and then like move forward even if there's some fear remaining. Like act fearless even if you're not, because sometimes like pursuing difficult things and hard things and things that we really want does create a bit of fear. And that just kind of means that you're like pursuing something that's maybe a little bit out of your comfort zone, a little bit like kind of scary in a good way that's going to challenge you. So yeah, I think definitely both of you need to lean into that a lot more. But I'm going to leave that there, pile 2. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. If it resonated, don't forget to drop me a comment. And if you could like, comment, and subscribe anyway, I would really, really appreciate that, because it will help me appear on your feed again very, very soon for another intuitive tarot card reading. But until then, ciao. Hey there, pile 3. Welcome to your reading for what your person perceives about your thoughts and feelings. At this time, just remembering this is a general reading, so there will be some messages here for specific people, and there may be some interpretations of the cards that might be best changed a little bit to better fit your situation. So just bringing along your intuition and discernment to general readings as always. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and meditate on the rest. But let's get into your reading. Spirit, could we please have themes of what pile 3's person is thinking or is perceiving about pile 3's thoughts and feelings? Could we please have, thank you. Oh, Jesus. Okay, we have a lot. Okay, so first of all, we have we have 2 Jupiters. So it seems like your person thinks that you're super, super abundant right now. So you have the actual Jupiter placement and then the Jupiter return, which kind of like reactivates your Jupiter placement in your chart. So Jupiter's obviously corresponded to Sagittarius energy, which is a fire sign and mutable sign, focused on like travel and spiritual development and like seeking and curiosity and like faith and all that sort of stuff. It obviously brings you a lot of abundance and good fortune. And yeah, like good stuff, luck and abundance. Then we also have Libra energy and the Saturn return. So Libra rules the 7th house of partnerships. It corresponds with Venus energy. And Saturn return is usually around the age of 27, and it brings like this whole new phase of responsibility to our lives. Saturn is all about truth and responsibility, and like honoring our truth and honoring our life purpose, like honoring like all the ways that we're meant to kind of like show up in the world. So yeah, they're all interesting energies. Lastly, we have Gemini energy in the 1st house. Gemini corresponds with the 3rd house of communication and brings out the more communicative side of the Mercury placement that rules that same house. It's obviously a air sign. And then we have, so it's Libra, by the way. And then we also have the 1st house of the body ruled by Aries and Mars, and reflects our like self and our identity and kind of like how we show up in the world. But let's get a little bit more specific using this traditional tarot deck. Could we please have more about pile 3's person's perception of pile 3's thoughts and feelings? This is like, I didn't realize how complicated this reading was going to be until I started like trying to say it. It's like a tongue twister. Please, thank you. Could you please have pile 3's person's perception of their thoughts and feelings, please? Could we please have thank you. Could we please have clarification on this 3 of Cups and 10 of Cups energy? Thank you. And the Knight of Wands, please. And the Tower card, please. Okay, pile 3, your person definitely perceives you as having like really gone through it and really come out the other side like so different, like so evolved, so changed. They can see this like tower like really broke you down, and the solitude was just like hell for you. Like you did not have a good time there. Yes, it like helped you like illuminate a lot of things, especially to do with like destructive patterns and things. And yes, you've come out the other side like so different, and so much better, and more like spiritually developed. But like your person knows that you really went through it. And I'm getting like maybe they're a little bit worried that you resent them for like having put them through that in the first place, even though they know that you did get a lot out of it in the end. They can see that you're like way more aligned and happy, and you've reached a real fulfillment when it comes to like your psychic gifts and just like love, like detached from other people. Like it definitely seems like you've learned self-love without the support of kind of anyone like around you. Like I think you've kind of like gone through this alone, I'm getting, and definitely you've come out the other side just like so full, and just kind of like peaking in terms of your like all like your life. Like you're so much stronger, you're so much more determined, you've had so much more success, and yeah, you're just like so much more aligned and happy and just like way better in life. You've definitely learned a lot, especially about like seeing two sides of the story. Like you've definitely gained a lot of insight and like knowledge in this time, and it seems like you've definitely transformed like a very passionate energy for other people into a passionate energy for yourself. Like it seems like your passion was always kind of like directed outside of you, and you weren't necessarily putting that self-care and self-love into yourself, but all of this really dark time like really changed all that, and made you put all of that energy into yourself. Or at least this is how your person is seeing it. Like maybe not all of that is like 100% true, and maybe you don't feel as whole and complete in like all these ways that they're perceiving you as feeling, but definitely your person, like this is how they see it. Like as far as they're concerned, like you're just like a whole new person, and just like so upgraded, so much better. This Gemini energy and this Two of Swords energy is kind of like similar kind of energy to me. Like kind of Gemini is like seeing two sides of the coin. Two of Swords does correspond with Moon in Libra though, and you've also got the Libra card coming out here, so this is kind of like also that like balanced two sides of the story like perspective, and understanding kind of like deeper parts of the story with that Moon also corresponding to this card. Yeah, I'm getting like all this abundance is kind of like in relation to like all of this like good feeling and like success in your life. And then I'm getting this Saturn return like is definitely about like everything that you've learned and all the insight that you've gained. Like all of that was kind of like supposed to happen for you in a way, because it's part of like your path here in life, and kind of like what you're meant to be doing in the world. So your person definitely sees you as way more aligned with like your calling, so to speak, and just like way more mature, way more like self-loving, definitely prioritizing yourself way more and caring about yourself way more as far as they're concerned. Whoop. Yeah, so there's just like so much abundance coming out in this spread. Like that's like 3 cards, like that's a lot. And then like this 7 of Pentacles and 8 of Pentacles energy is both pretty abundant, and this 10 of Cups is definitely abundant, like more in a like emotional way rather than physical. It seems like you've definitely evolved in terms of your abundance and your friendships. Like your circle is definitely better, and people who are more encouraging and just like really have your back. Like it seems like you've kind of like cut off a lot of dead weight, I would say. But let's see what else. Yeah, it seems like you kind of ended up somewhere really unexpected to your person. Like they kind of, I think they saw you kind of going one way, and then you kind of like hairpin turned and just went like in a totally different direction. And it makes a lot of sense to them now, because I think like they know that you learned a lot about yourself, and that you really sat with yourself and was like patient with all your stuff for the first time in your life. So you got to like kind of really unravel a lot. But yeah, it was definitely unexpected to them where you kind of ended up. But like when they saw how things were going, they were like, oh, it actually makes a lot of sense. Your person, like I'm getting heavy separation energy, and that your person's like definitely either getting all this energetically or they're keeping some sort of eye on you, like either way. Probably a bit of both, to be honest. If you guys are really energetically connected, there seems like there's just like a lot of energy here. So I'm just going to take the first and last cards. So we have hold your vision and meditate and contemplate. I think this person definitely is probably getting a lot of this, like this perception through meditating on like the feeling of the two of your energy. And I think this person probably like really envisions a future with you, and they're kind of like holding on to that. But like, I think they're trying to see how they're going to fit into your life because you are so different now. I'm getting that maybe they're not really sure how that's going to go, and maybe what you're going to want and need in the future. Yeah, so they're definitely thinking about that a lot and just like wondering. But the text says, have faith, love is coming, surprise, invitation, or meeting. I think your person's like maybe in this hesitation energy a lot. They definitely want to come in and like speak to you and connect with you, and like maybe restart some stuff. But yeah, definitely they're like meditating on this a lot because they're kind of like not really sure how they fit in your life now. Or how they would fit in your life if you accepted them back in. Can we get anything else, please? Yeah, this is definitely like a soulmate partnership connection. Your person definitely thinks that you're soulmates, and they hope that you feel the same way. They know that you've like healed a lot and like changed a lot, and they're just like wondering how this soulmate energy can manifest in this connection based on all the change that's occurred. Like that, I think they're definitely hoping that this isn't to be left in the past now, because they're definitely like envisioning a future, like this vision, and they're definitely fixed on that. Like they don't want to let that go, so they're just like trying to nut out some stuff, like thinking a lot about it, of like how they're gonna kind of like proceed. I'm getting but we've got some affirmations for you, pile 3. We've got, I forgive the hurt that has been done to me. I step away from the prison of resentment, and my motivation is fueled by the thrill my goals will bring. I'm ready to create my dreams. I think this is heavily corresponding to this Queen of Wands energy. This is definitely some good stuff for you. So keep like going down that path, and really like being inspired by your dreams and what you want. But also like it's really important that you forgive the hurt from the past. And I think that might actually help your person be a little bit less indecisive in terms of like coming in, because yeah, I think maybe some of their hesitation is around seeing how much hurt they did to you, how much you healed, and how much you're better on the other side. And they're worried that you're better without them. I think they're not really seeing the big picture of that though, about how like kind of the two of you needed to connect and like shake some stuff up and yeah, how that was kind of like necessary for you to learn and grow and evolve. And I'm getting that maybe, yes, you might be resentful at times, and that is definitely a prison that you need to let go of, but also I'm sensing probably a lot of gratitude from you as well. Like you realize kind of everything happened the way it was meant to happen, and there was like kind of always two sides of the story, and there was two of you contributing to the destruction as well. It wasn't just your person, it wasn't just you. So yeah, you're definitely seeing it from this very balanced perspective, I would say. Like obviously you can see it from a balanced perspective though and still be hurt, and that's fine. Like you do you feel your feelings, and you go through the process of like grief and like forgiveness in your own time, your own space, just as long as you're working towards that, because obviously the only person who suffers from you not forgiving is like you at the end of the day, but you do that when you're ready for sure. But I think I'm going to leave that there, pile 3. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. It was a pleasure reading for you. If it resonated, don't forget to drop me a comment. And if you could like, comment and subscribe anyway, I would really appreciate it, because it will help me stay on your feed for more intuitive tarot card readings. So until then, ciao. That's all I have for you guys today. My name is Jade Rewilding, and I'll be on this channel doing intuitive tarot card readings for whenever you need it, guys. So make sure that you like, comment and subscribe to be around for all of that content. Until then, ciao.